Right now on the National Weather Desk, here comes the snow. From New England to New York and beyond, the snow is closing schools and making travel hazardous.
It's still a pretty wet and slushy mix of snow.
And speaking of snow, why has there been so little in one of the nation's snowiest cities?
Syracuse is getting warmer.
Landslide danger. 3 mansions could soon fall directly into the ocean.
The deck perched above the ocean has not moved.
The surprising connection between insect mating habits and the weather.
And I'm going, what the heck is going on here?
And why hailstones can come in all shapes and sizes.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Amira David. 31 million Americans are under a winter storm warning this morning as a major storm arrives in the Northeast. We start with a look at Philadelphia this morning. The snow falling from Virginia, however, to New Hampshire, and it's already causing big problems on the roads and at airports. Hundreds of flights already canceled at New York's 3 major airports as well as in Boston. We have team coverage this morning, starting with Allegra Zamor in Providence, Rhode Island.
I'm Allegra Zamor in East Providence, where the snow is definitely starting to pick up a bit, but the snowflakes have gotten much smaller than they were earlier this morning. We're starting to see the snow start to stick on some of these main roadways and some of the grassy surfaces as well, but it's still a pretty wet and slushy mix of snow, and the plows haven't had too many issues getting it cleared on these roads as they drop their salt and come through here this morning. We're expecting snow to pick up later this afternoon, where we're getting several more inches of snow, but for now, I'm Allegra Zamor for the National Weather Desk.
Visibility still pretty difficult as you're driving out here. I've seen a lot of people actually slipping and sliding around the roads. Make sure you're taking it slow. I know that I've been telling you about our speed limit. We've been reducing our speed. I think the speed right now is maybe about 35 miles per hour. We're going about 25 miles per hour right now, so definitely taking it slow out here on the road.
And snow is also falling across parts of New Jersey. This is video from this morning in West Orange, just very, very close to Newark, New Jersey. And for more on how New York City and Boston are gearing up for the storm, we turn to reporter Michael Yoshida.
It's been one of the warmest winters on record for the Northeast, but Mother Nature has different plans for today.
We have not had any significant snowfall for quite some time, but the time has come. Mother Nature does what she wants to do.
A fast-moving nor'easter is expected to bring the biggest snowfall in 2 years to parts of the region, ranging from a predicted inch or 2 inches in Philadelphia to 6 to 12 inches in Boston and Hartford, and 5 to 8 inches in the New York, New Jersey area. Although the storm should be over by the late afternoon, it could pack a punch.
It is expected to cause hazardous travel conditions, potential power outages, and coastal flooding.
Governors from Pennsylvania to Rhode Island are urging people to stay off the roads and avoid non-essential travel. Rhode Island's governor says that state has 250 salt trucks ready. Boston has 38,000 tons of salt. Schools are canceled in several cities, and New York City public schools have moved to remote learning. And residents are prepared to ride it out with supplies like salt, shovels, and firewood.
Just in case the heat goes out, we'll have a little extra wood. We moved here 2 years ago. This will be the first, hopefully, actual real storm.
In New York, I'm Michael Yoshida.
And to see where the storm is headed and how much snow is expected, we have meteorologist Brian Vandegraff tracking all of that for us. Brian?
Well, across the Mid-Atlantic to the Northeast, from wind to wintry weather to winter storms, we've got it all across the Northeast, where winter weather advisories in effect, the northwestern suburbs of D.C. through Philadelphia, and then from New York, Pennsylvania, and into New England, winter storm warnings. Here's that snow this morning. It was a lot of rain through the Mid-Atlantic and D.C. metro areas, but a quick hit of snow that then transitions up to New York, Long Island, and then eventually into New England. How much are we talking? Well, a couple of inches across the Northeast 95 corridor, but the jackpot, man, eastern portions of Massachusetts down through portions of Rhode Island. That's where they see the most snow out towards the Cape. This all moves out here tonight, and drier weather moves in tomorrow.
And to stay up to date on all the latest on the Northeaster, be sure to follow us on social media. We'll have all the latest from our meteorologists across the Northeast. And be sure to tag us with all of your great snow photos and videos as well. Just search the National Weather Desk on your favorite social media platform. And that same storm system brought hail to Alabama yesterday. While most of these hailstones were probably shaped like marbles or balls, many had unusual shapes. And here's why. When hail forms in weaker updrafts, they're repeatedly lifted and dropped in the clouds. This causes the ice to freeze, melt, and refreeze. So when they finally fall to the ground, they can be in any number of shapes. Snow and Syracuse, those are two words that go together. As one of the snowiest cities in America, Syracuse is used to big snowfalls. But over the years, those snowfalls have gotten smaller. And this year, there's more warmth than that of white snow. Nicole LaFiandra went to the National Weather Service for answers.
Many associate this winter with nothing falling from the sky. But the amount of precipitation has actually been increasing, according to the National Weather Service. The percentage of precipitation that ends up as snow is what's lacking. But why is this happening now? The National Weather Service describes the perfect storm.
One of the factors this winter is that we had record warm Atlantic temperatures heading into this winter.
Pairing with that warm Atlantic is El Nino. During El Nino, winds over the Pacific Ocean weaken. Warm water is pushed east towards the west coast of North America. That brings moisture further south to areas like Texas and Florida, but not central New York. But once our area does get snow with that moisture from the warm Atlantic, there's one more problem.
For what snow that you get, can you hang on to it?
Syracuse is getting warmer.
You look at Syracuse, say 1950 onward, you have the observed temperatures year to year, lots of bouncing around, but the trend has been to creep up over time.
So what does the future of America's once snowiest city look like?
This winter, our temperatures have been above normal, right? But we still have had cold snaps, and we can still get, late February through March can be a very active time period. Winter's not dead yet.
In California, mansions are in danger of falling directly into the ocean after a cliffside gave way over the weekend. The threat comes after last week's atmospheric river. Michelle Guile spoke with a homeowner in Orange County.
This is what came tumbling down in Dana Point during the last storm. Tons of rock and debris slid to the beach below the bluff in an area known as the Headlands. Dr. Louis Brueggemann owns the home on Scenic Drive right above the landslide.
The house is fine. It's not threatened, and it will not be red tagged.
This picture was taken from a boat off the coast. The rocks came to rest near the popular Dana Point tide pools. A drone captured this dramatic shot of the A-frame home next door. City officials say the deck perched above the ocean has not moved. An inspection of the residences was done and no cracks were found. Quote, the city's geotechnical engineer and a building inspector went out to the site to assess the situation, as well as talk with the homeowner who owns the residence and slope where the failure occurred. Currently, the city has confirmed that there is no imminent threat to the home.
And the city agrees that there's no major structural issue right now with the house, so it's not going to get red tagged.
The slide has not affected the Dana Point Headlands open space or access to the well-traveled trail.
Greenland is losing ice and gaining vegetation. According to a new study, over the last 30 years, the Danish territory has lost an area of ice that is about 36 times the size of New York City. Swaths of the region that were once covered in ice and snow are now barren rock, wetlands, and shrub areas. Scientists warn this could have serious consequences for climate change and for sea level rise. Hundreds of migratory species are now facing extinction because of how humans have altered the earth. The United Nations report found the most alarming population declines are among migratory fish. 97% are threatened with extinction. Among the reasons, overfishing, hunting, and clearing land for farming, roads, and infrastructure. And coming up on the National Desk, a group of scientists are studying the deepest portions of water off the Gulf of Mexico. We'll speak to them about what they hope to find.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have a little storm system moving through the Northeast this morning, especially in southern New England, New York, and New Jersey, where we're seeing some snowfall. Back edge moves out tonight. Some sun returns on Wednesday. It's a little blustery, though. Air temps will be in the 20s, and wind chills, they'll be running in the teens. As far as snowfall amounts go here, our best chance for getting over a half foot of snow will be through parts of New York, New Jersey, and right up through southern New England. And again, the sun returns Wednesday, but it feels cooler.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. We have a storm system continuing to track through the area. In the Mid-Atlantic region, we're going to be seeing rain changing to some snowfall early on Tuesday morning. But as we move through the daytime, your Tuesday afternoon is going to be a lot drier and much chillier as we get into your Tuesday night and Wednesday. As we get to your afternoon, we may reach the upper 40s to around 50, but it's going to be cooling down to the low 30s to upper 20s. And then Wednesday is going to be a lot cooler, highs only in the low 40s.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. Good morning. We have cooler temperatures today. We have 50s, 40s up in our northern parts of the area, and then we creep into the 60s as we get into the Gulf Coast, and then down near the Atlantic coast in South Florida, up 80s in Miami, 76 in West Palm Beach. Those showers that move through the area are pushing to the south still. A mix of sun and clouds behind them for the Florida area, but a nice clear day for the rest of us.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Heavy rain in Alabama dropped several inches, swelling water waves, including Grove Oaks High Falls and this spillway in Dothan. Rainfall led to flooding in places. This was spotted from an overpass in Opelika. This car got caught up in a drenched roadway, and this image captures remnants of a tree blown apart by a lightning strike Sunday.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday.
There is a project underway at the University of Rhode Island that aims to unlock secrets held deep within the Gulf of Mexico. The goal is to study the lowest level of water and sediment in a body of water. Sam Reed spoke with the researchers to learn more.
Inside of the University of Rhode Island's Narragansett Bay campus, a team of staff, students, and scientists are hard at work putting the finishing touches on these orange-looking orbs. Andrew Davies, a professor of environment and life sciences and at the Graduate School of Oceanography, says these are benthic landers and that he and his team believe they could be a key to understanding coral communities deep, and I mean deep, in the ocean.
Over the last 20 years or so, we have been working on the distribution of marine species, trying to understand where they live, where they occur, and why they occur in certain places around the world.
Having built the landers themselves with funding from NOAA, they'll be able to withstand the pressure of water in areas that are so deep they're hardly explored.
We have to use different technologies to try and better understand where they are. Because if we don't know where they are, how can we understand or how can we protect them?
Equipped with the biggest battery, video cameras, sensors, and lasers, each one took more than 4 weeks to build. These also have tracking technology and will be placed in the Gulf of Mexico about 6,000 feet deep. They're hoping to get new information on the restoration of coral communities after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill.
These two benthic landers are going to be deployed at the end of March and into April.
It won't be a quick trip, though. They'll be left on the ocean floor for a year as Davies and his team wait and watch, hoping to look at everything from temperature changes to possible new species and ecosystems.
But it's very important to know what we don't know. And that is part of what science is really about. Is trying to instill that curiosity, that learning motivation in a student, and also in myself, and keep that going.
Well, several inches of snow fell over the weekend in Amarillo, Texas. That's good news for farmers in the area because it means more stored water for spring crops. Drew Powell explains.
6 inches of snow for us in this time of year is just a godsend.
Snow on top of a field helps to preserve moisture already in the ground. The snow the region received over the weekend is adding more moisture underground. Something local producer like Michael Newhouse say is needed to ensure a good start for the growing season.
The moisture that we're getting right now, it's like putting money in a savings account because the ground's going to hold the moisture and we're going to have a good profile when it comes time to put seed in the ground.
Certainly makes a big difference as far as cost in going into the crop, as well as protecting the groundwater that we are certainly being limited by.
To help ensure a great start to the 2024 growing season, ag producers and farmers on the High Plains and South Plains say they need 1 to 2 more wet, significant snowfall events mixed in with 1 to 2 rainfall events. Therefore, they can bank the additional moisture.
When you listen to your local meteorologist give the weather forecast you hear, sometimes you hear them say 20% chance of rain or 50% chance of snow. But do you know exactly what that means? Albany, New York meteorologist Sam Coplin helps clear up any confusion on precipitation probability.
We do have this handy formula. P equals the probability of precipitation. We solve for that by multiplying the forecaster's confidence by the aerial coverage of precipitation. Specifically, it's a statistical probability of measurable precipitation in the given forecast area over a specified time period. It sounds very, very wordy. Let's go with an example. So say I'm 80% confident that 40% of the capital region will see snow. We have our C, that's 80%. We have our A, that is 40% or 0.4. Multiply those together, and we get a 20% chance of snow for any given point in the capital region. Notice it's a point within a specified area. It doesn't have to do with the amount of the day that will be filled with snow or the amount of the area that will be seeing snow. Another thing I want to talk about is the probability of precipitation is unrelated to intensity. A 30% chance of rain versus a 100% chance of rain says nothing about the amount of the rain falling. A lot of times in the summer, we'll just have a 30% chance of a thunderstorm passing by. And if you do get hit with that thunderstorm, the rain could be coming down at a pretty intense rate for 15 or 20 minutes. So hopefully that clarified a little bit the probability of precipitation.
Well, there's been a lot of folklore over the years about animals having a sense for changing weather, but there is actual scientific research to back this up. One scientist shared with Emily Gracie how this research team accidentally discovered that insect mating behavior was being influenced by weather patterns.
We would put together these little tiny parasitic wasps, which are used to control aphid pests. And you've got to understand, no windows, everything is the same. Temperature, photoperiod, humidity, everything is the same. And I would set up, say, 100 pairs, and on one day we get 99% mating. I'd repeat it the next day, and we would get 12%. I'd do it the next day, we would get 50%. And it was all over the shop, and I'm going, what the heck is going on here? Everything is controlled. And then I thought, wait a minute, one thing that isn't controlled is the atmospheric pressure. Lo and behold, that if there was an increase or a decrease in the atmospheric pressure in the 6 to 8 hours prior to the window that they normally do their behavior, the animals didn't do that behavior anywhere near as much.
But do you know the why and how?
It's been proposed that with increasing and decreasing atmospheric pressure changes the volume of the blood. So that increases the pressure and would allow the insect to know certain conditions are happening. Nobody has yet put their finger on this.
Did you have any idea when you started this study where it was going? Did you know that it was going to go in this direction of weather and atmospheric changes?
Sounds arrogant to say yes, but no, not because I'm being smart. I'm going, animals are smart. I mean, think about the monarch butterfly that I work on. It can leave London, Ontario and end up in a place in Mexico that it has never been to, its parents have never been to. How the hell do you do that? They use sun compass orientation, etc. When you're faced with all that evidence and you're saying, could they do this with atmospheric pressure? It's almost like, for God's sake, don't ask stupid questions. Of course they can. All we've got to do is find a way to prove it.
Animals aren't the only ones being influenced by changing weather. To find out how human mating patterns are influenced by environmental factors, make sure you check out this week's episode of our podcast, Off the Radar. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. And as we head into break, we fly over a buffalo ranch in Bedford County, Pennsylvania. Enjoy.
Well, a very good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. Taking a look at weather story across the Midwest. Things are pretty quiet for most of us. Got a few snow showers trying to sneak their way out into South Dakota there, but the area of low pressure kicking out of Kentucky into West Virginia and out of our neck of the woods. By the time that we get into the day tomorrow, a few more snow showers there across the southern Dakotas and a few showers kicking its way into the plains there. This ramps up a little bit more on Thursday as it head towards the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley with another system swinging into the west.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. It's a little bit chilly up from Amarillo back over into Oklahoma City, sitting into the 20s. We've got 40s in central Texas. High pressure moves east today. That means southerly winds come back. That means more moisture comes back. That means another spring day kind of setting up across most of the region. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia, and that's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there, everybody. A February morning that is starting to look and feel more like it should. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. We're talking about temps back into only about freezing for afternoon highs today near Yellowstone. 60s around coastal Los Angeles and San Diego, and a touch of spring out of Phoenix. We often see that in February. 71 today in the Valley of the Sun. Current weather maker, this little area of low pressure dropping down over Montana with some snow near the Continental Divide later this afternoon. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Imagine this, your daily morning walk turns into a rescue mission. That's what happened to one Minnesota man as he walked his dog along the Red River last week. Kirsty Madej has the story.
He saw a man in the river clinging to a sheet of ice, trying not to get swept away with the current.
Panic, pretty much. I didn't know what to do exactly.
Vander Ark called 911 and then sprung into action.
Just started looking for something to grab. Luckily, right at my feet was that stick that miraculously was perfect length for us to get it out there, and he was able to grab a hold of it.
Vander Ark says a Moorhead police officer responded almost immediately.
It took a couple tries to actually get him to hold on tight, but I started pulling him out and realized I didn't have any grip on the ice, and luckily the officers behind me had got a hold of the stick and a hold of me, and were able to pull both of us off the ice and him out of the water. Just walking my dog. Anybody else in the same situation would have done the exact same thing.
For more information on staying safe if you encounter river ice, just head to our YouTube page where we posted a video all about winter ice safety. Just search the National Weather Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Amira David. Make it a great Tuesday, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.